good.
403. All right. We received the minutes by email, and if there are no corrections, I would move that they be approved, accepted.
I'll second that.
Okay. No personnel transactions?
I apologize, but no, I'll try to get you 3 months next month.
Okay. And we'll figure out when next month at the end of the meeting.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
Correspondence, civil service regarding weather. I read that and I wondered, do we have a way of notifying the people that we think are coming?
Yeah, so we do now ask for email addresses.
Okay.
We also are fairly fortunate, well, or fairly unfortunate, I'm not sure which, that we generally do not have very large testing pools. So if that were to ever arise, I would probably take the time to call everybody. But, you know, for the most part, it would have to be a road closure. And I believe we say that in our exam announcements too. But, you know, same media outlets I used to call cancel a softball game, I'd probably call all those again, so.
Okay. And the request to update MSD access and change ESD, that's your authorizations?
Yep, so we're gonna talk about that down under new business in more detail. One other piece of correspondence that not really, we had a phone call that came in from civil service in response to the letter that Russ signed at the last meeting, in regards to the length of time that it is taking for new job specs or ordered exams to actually take place, and the amount of time that it's taking for provisionals to cease being provisional. So I talked to, fairly certain, I think it was Jason Laird, and he said that the senior staff was meeting regarding the letter and that I should expect some response from them. I did not get a response, but I did see that we had, on the exam status, we had 2 very long-term provisional tests that have been assigned dates. So that's progress.
We'll take credit for that, Russ.
That's right. So
I think it ironic that the response to receiving the letter about not being prompt is to sit in a meeting and discuss it, but
they did call, and they did attempt to, one of the more senior staff did attempt to reach out to me earlier in the day, and unfortunately I was unable to take the call, but it was good to talk to Jason about it, and he kind of did give a little bit of, you know, I mean, especially the test series that are offered every other year, that if they got missed during the pandemic, then obviously that's adding to the wait times and stuff like that. And I did point out, yes, that's true, but we're seeing it take years before we even get assigned a series. And so if we don't know what series it's going to, we don't know what series we're waiting for. But hopefully it improves. And we'll talk, I'll point out the 2 that finally got scheduled once we get to the exam status.
good. No eligible lists. What's the next one? Is it police?
Police, most likely, yeah, we will probably see police. The other one we could see, Jim Schofield took, he's a provisional in the title of transit working supervisor. It will be a race. He has officially given his intent to retire on December 27th. I'm confident we will get the scores prior to his retirement, and we will be able to resolve his provisional status before then. So,
But that does not affect retirement.
absolutely not.
Okay.
No, no.
Unless he hasn't passed, does he need to be
We will, if that were to happen, which I have a lot of confidence in Jim. He's been my UKG scheduling superhero since we started with the new payroll system. He's a fantastic, valuable employee. He'll be greatly missed when he retires, but it'd be nice to remove the provisional tag for him for no other reason, just,
Good, well, fingers crossed.
yeah, he'll be fine.
All right, we've got the exams here.
Yeah, so exam status. So you will see that I was able to order exams. So I got an email on Monday that they were temporarily opening the portal up to be able to order exams. They found more numbers, which is fantastic. And they asked us at that time to limit it to our most critical needs. So firefighter, which is generally held in March, I thought that was pretty critical. Deputy Director of Finance is, I'm hoping, going to be in the same series as Director of Finance, which is already scheduled for January, so I wanted to order that since we have a new vacancy there. Finance Coordinator, we have a provisional in that title who was hired in July. And I'm also hoping that one will get slated in that same series. And then Librarian is a training and performance test. That's one of the ones where instead of taking a traditional test, you basically go onto the state website and you enter your resume and they give you a score based on your experience. So that is one that we had scheduled for the summer and had to cancel, and I had been waiting for new numbers to reschedule. We do actually already have a nice pool of candidates for that exam, but we will re-advertise once we get a new exam number for it. And then engineering GIS technician, that's another one that is coming up that will resolve a provisional hire. And then today, they opened it up again. And so it's not on here, but I also got civilian dispatcher ordered, because we will have a provisional appointment to that position, hopefully, at the next council meeting. So I figured I'd get that done a couple of days early. And that test is generally scheduled in January as well. And I also ordered Human Resources Director to be in compliance with our requirement to order an exam within 30 days of a new appointment. And there was another one too that I ordered today. So it was really good to get some of those more critical ones off our list and get them ordered. So the ones that got scheduled finally, purchasing agent got slotted the same week as the finance jobs, so that's fantastic. We've had a provisional in that job for, is he coming up on his first anniversary in January, or is that his second? It's his first, right?
No, second.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fantastic that one finally got scheduled, and records management clerk for February. That was ordered for an employee that took a provisional and has since retired and been replaced. And so this one has, 15 years or so before they're gonna retire. So it's good to see they won't also have to retire with a provisional tag. We'll get this one scheduled.
What are the two different records management clerk?
We ordered it both provisionally and open competitively.
Okay.
So you'll see the exam number starting with 7
Right.
is the promotional exam, and that is the one that our provisional will be taking, and then the open competitive one
Good.
will be open to the public.
All right.
What about purchasing agent? I see it listed twice.
Katie was trying to make a point because it had been so long, so she reordered it.
Okay.
So I will now cancel the second one. Yep. It worked. We got it scheduled. So A note on purchasing agent. Purchasing agent is an exam that had been announced and we had accepted candidates for and was scheduled for April of 2020. They assigned us the same exam number, so we will be reaching out to those candidates that had originally applied in 2020 to make sure that they are aware that their exam has finally been scheduled.
2.5 years later, well, 2 3/4, okay, well,
So,
okay, good. No old business, or is that the
you guys have any old business?
civilian dispatch coordinator? We're going to do that under new.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. So let's move on. Human Resources Director update.
Greg, you wanna lead that one?
Sure. You may have met Joe Temming. He has been anointed our new Human Resources Director. Glad to have him. I know Dave, probably as much as anyone's glad to have some help in the office. Yeah. Welcome aboard, Joe.
Thank you, excited to be here.
Great, thank you. It's nice to have somebody in the position, but it does leave open another position, which, the recruiting, well, that's now your
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Working on that immediately.
bodies.
So that exam is now ordered.
Great. All right, importantly, the designation of commission secretary. You are acting at this point, and
Yeah.
we did that strategically.
The original, appointment that appointed me acting, I believe the specific verbiage in it was in, absence of a personnel director. And that title no longer exists, so I don't believe that, can continue in that format.
All right. And you sent us a resolution, right?
Yep, if that is something you folks are interested in, I did prepare a resolution to appoint, to remove the acting title. Yep.
I seem to, and it's not in this package.
The last page of your.
Is it?
Yes.
Does that seem not?
I do have a loose one for signatures.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry. Looked like a job description, all those bullets.
It is, yeah.
So I have to make a motion on and then, Dave and I sign, or Keith and I sign this.
I have an extra copy here for you guys to sign, so you can keep that one. It's part of your agenda.
And you said this was the same motion that we adopted several years ago.
So, I am very fortunate that Nancy was able to locate a hard copy of the one that you, both, signed off on for Katie in 2017. And she then typed it up for me. I did go through, I made 3 changes to what had been passed for Katie. The first change that I made was, the resolution for Katie didn't say anything about, one of the bullet points was just approve appointments to non-competitive class appointments. And I added labor class there, to make, I think the rules about labor class appointments have changed, in recent years, so I wanted to make sure that that's in there now, because labor class now, for the most part, enjoy the same rights as a non-competitive, class appointment. One of the other ones in the duties, I did add prepare annual report for submission to state civil service. I feel like that is a very key function of the secretary. It's one of the biggest projects I'll undertake in any given year. And so I wanted to add that in there. And then the other one, I removed a line, supervises staff. Since I will not be the director, I will certainly need a lot of help, but it would be much more delegating than supervising.
All right. So Russ, you have a motion?
Then I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution to delegate functions to Civil Service Commission Secretary.
And I will second that. Thank you.
Okay.
And is there an original we actually signed?
Yes. There you are.
Thanks. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there an additional stipend?
That's up to him. We can talk about that later.
I don't get involved in personnel issues. All right, well, good. I'm, certainly in my time here, you and Katie have been really on the nose with civil service,
She was a wonderful mentor. Yep.
so
I was lucky to work with her.
I've always felt very confident that we were getting clear and thorough information. So exam security designee change.
So the state, upon learning of Katie's departure, did email me with these forms and asked them to be signed at our next meeting. The examination security designation, this is one person that has to be in charge of receiving and being responsible for exam materials and dealing with any issues during the administration of the exam. So I did go ahead and prepare that in my name, as it will be me that will be taking, be present at most of the exams moving forward. And so I'll send that down to you to sign. All these forms only require the chair's signature. And I will forward them to, actually, let me just give you all of them.
Does this include the access MSD applications?
Yeah. So the other form that they sent me is local agency access to the Municipal Service Division applications on the Civil Service website. So I've given you 3 forms for that one. The first one is to delete Katie's permissions and to delete her from the system under our, I'm sure she has some permissions with Saratoga County, but to remove her permissions from ours. The second one is to make an amendment to my current permissions. I currently have full access. The only one category that I did not have access to was to submit requests for 211 waivers. 211 waiver is when we want to hire a retiree and want to request from the state that we pay them in excess of the $35,000 that is the usual limit for a retiree returning to the workforce. We haven't done a 211 waiver since Gary O'Neill was police chief. I want to say that was like 2010-ish. So it doesn't come up very often for us, which is probably why I didn't have that permission. It hasn't come up in my tenure. The third one that I gave you is I did give you one for Joe. I think I would feel very comfortable. I need to have a backup that has full access as well. So if anything comes up, if anything happens to me, it's all set, it's all signed, it's all ready to go. It would give him full access to everything you can do on that website as well.
So 4, right? And that's what I've signed.
Yes, 4 total, yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there are more than one exam on any given day, you have the ability to designate other people to.
It would be my responsibility to make sure that the people that I'm assigning to given rooms are qualified to handle that room, and then have them sign off on the security materials for that specific room. Very common in larger districts where they might rent out a whole school and be having 7 or 8 exams going on any given Saturday, where they have different exam monitors in each room, and then it's the exam security designation, the ESD, that has to go around and make sure that everything's running smoothly across all the rooms, yes.
So we're on to job specs.
Okay. So civilian dispatch coordinator, we talked about this a little bit in executive session, the need for this job spec last one, but this is the first time it's been on the main agenda, so I put it under new business. So this is a new job spec, or a revised job spec actually, that was requested by the chief of police. It would replace the existing job spec for senior civilian dispatcher. And basically that job spec I have modernized and expanded a bit to the senior civilian dispatcher was very much more focused on supervising the dispatchers, where in the current role, the dispatchers, the civilian staff are now supervised. The actual supervision takes place by command staff, uniformed command staff. So this position helps out a lot with clerical functions of the office, very much so with discovery and distributing discovery to prosecuting and defending attorneys. But they also have a really heavy role in dispatch operations as well. They cover the desk for absences. They come in support of a dispatcher when there is a more complex situation going on, and they do daily audits of calls from the previous shifts to give feedback on the radio transmissions and the telephone transmissions that took place from the previous shift. So it is a really important role within the civilian role within our police department.
And Greg, you've had a chance to go over this.
Yes.
Well, I would move that we accept the civilian dispatch coordinator job description as presented.
Second that.
So the next one we have on the agenda, this is another one that I'm bringing to you for the first time. This is a request that came from the school district. They are looking to expand the duties of what is currently a title that's held that is mainly clerical, and they're looking to expand those duties to give that person more responsibilities with helping with the branding of the school district. They will be responsible for updating the branding and making it cohesive across multiple platforms, making sure that materials put out for public dissemination on, whether it's via the digital billboard that they have, not billboard, but the digital sign in front of the school, whether it's on the social media outlets, whether it's the way the branding looks on stationery, that it's all cohesive So they want to designate those to the person that's currently working in the district office, that is currently also responsible for just handling the day-to-day traffic and the calls that are coming into the district office.
This is something they supplied.
They provided me, I had them complete the job questionnaire form upon their request, and once we realized that it is a very new function for the school district and that there was nothing that we currently have that would fit the bill, so we developed this based on that questionnaire. I also did get some ideas from a public information coordinator position, which I found out of Broome County. So I did do some pilfering from that job spec as well.
Did you ran it by the school officials? Or?
I gave them a copy on Monday, and I haven't heard any objection since then, so hopefully they're ready for it to come today.
Well, should we wait to hear from them before we?
I made it clear that that was my intention, was to take it to council today. We can certainly table it for a week though, and I can talk, I have a meeting with Reggie on the agenda. I don't believe it's something that is so time sensitive for them. You know, it's not like they're planning on making an appointment at their next board meeting or anything like that, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know.
Could we approve it contingent on no objections from the school?
Absolutely.
That would be a way to
So-
do it. Yeah.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
So this is the person that I can write the letter to that says, change the concession stand to snack bar?
Sure.
Because the football field should not have the word concession on it. Okay.
Yes. I'll tell them to look for that. Yeah.
It just hit me the other day, I'm walking by the football field, concession, and no. All right, so we have no need for executive session that I am aware of. Anybody else? Is that pretty much it?
Yeah.
I move we adjourn at 4:31 Eastern Standard, or Eastern
Oh,
Daylight Time.
Actually, the one other thing to discuss is the meeting schedule for next.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yes.
it's in-
So we are currently scheduled for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I wanted to see if there was another date that may work for everybody. I did bring Carrie's wonderful calendar for November to see, make sure we weren't, make it as easy on her as possible. And I do see that there's openings on the 21st, the 29th, or the 30th. And I was wondering if any of those dates may be convenient for everybody.
I don't think it matters.
All of those dates are available for me.
Carrie, do you have any preference? Is that last week?
The last week would be ideal, just because the week before I'm out of town, so it's
Okay.
just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got like 3 sisters coming the first part of that week.
Okay. So the
And I'll be
29th?
here, they're all coming from South Carolina, so I think the last week would be better for me.
Does that work for you, Joe? Okay. 4 PM?
29?
Yeah, on the 29th.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's not a payroll week, so that's wonderful.
And with that addition, I now move that we adjourn